Sorry for the delay in getting this out. I've been dealing with a bunch of family stuff. This video is going to serve to tie up a lot of loose ends and go over a lot of common issues people are still having with the tune. Real quick, since we talked about the new game, I have no idea if this is going to work in the new game. Supposedly, it's going to share a similar engine, so I have my fingers crossed, but we will have to wait and see. Of course, when the beta drops, the early access beta drops, I will be in the game testing the current tune and seeing what I can do to prepare for launch. One of the most common issues people have after installing the tune is they say that their mic doesn't work. It's not that your mic doesn't work, it's that Windows has this annoying feature that it will reset your default mic device to whatever the newest device is. And part of how the tune works, there are both playback sides for Art, Tune, and Voice Meter, and there are recording sides for Art, Tune, and Voice Meter. So when you install Voice Meter, it's gonna switch to that. So you just have to come into Sound Control Panel, you can search mmsys.cpl and hit enter, and it'll open this. You go to the recording tab, and you make sure that your mic is selected. In my case, my mic is attached to the line in port on this PC. Another common issue people had questions about was sample rate. So if you go into any of the properties here, should it be 24-bit? Should it be 16-bit? Should it be 48 or 44.1? Go to your hardware device. And again, people had questions about this. Your hardware device is just where you listen to the game. So for me, this is the optical port. For you, it could be your headset, or it could be the slider on the Go XLR. It's what gets chosen over here in Voice Meter, and it's listed here. Go to it, hit Properties, go to Advanced. If it says 48, you need to set the devices to 48. If it says 44.1, you need to set the devices to 44.1. The virtual cables should always, always, always be 24-bit. So the only thing you're needing to change is 48,000 hertz or 44,100 hertz. So just make sure you're paying attention to what it is on the hardware device and you're matching it both on the playback and the recording sides of the tune. This will prevent any crackling or any weirdness on the audio. If you add your hardware device and it says 1056 over here instead of 256 once you've done the guide, a simple thing you can do to correct this is go to the properties on the playback device. Once again, your playback device is where you hear the game, and make sure you disable any enhancements that are here. I don't have any on these drivers, so it doesn't really matter, but if you have enhancements down here in the advanced tab, or you have an enhancements tab like this, make sure you're clicking disable all enhancements. I'm just showing you in the art tune here, it's not meant to be done there. On the hardware device, make sure all enhancements are disabled. The next couple points are just gonna be rapid fire education points. So first, verticality. There's just not a way to tell verticality in the game. You don't hear it in stock audio. My tune can't magically produce verticality. In fact, games struggle with verticality in general. How do you make something sound like it's above you or below you? Using stereo headsets. People have been fighting to do this for years. So if you use this tune and you're like, I can't hear if somebody's above or below me, it's gonna rely on your game awareness. Is it metal? Is it cement? Is it dirt? Is it grass? Know the map, know the sound cues, know where they are. The next point are streaks and boxes. I don't know how many times I have to talk about it. They're warplanes. They're raining down almighty hellfire from above. They're gonna be loud. We just gotta deal with it. Put on those big people pants and just deal with it. And boxes. Boxes just kind of come along with the footsteps. Pop them, you're gonna have to deal with them. So the solution to streaks and boxes is your volume, dog. Turn it down. You're running things too loud. Now that your gun's quiet, you feel like you need to turn up the volume to hear, and then when something loud happens, you're like, oh my gosh, this is way too loud. So what I do and how I find my volume level is every time that I infill or enter the plane about to drop in, that is probably one of the loudest things on the map, those big planes. So when you're in the plane, set your volume and master volume to whatever you need it to be so that that's not too loud, just loud enough, and you should be good to go. A big issue people remark on is that their shadow play or clipping software no longer records all their audio when they're using the tune. This is normal. Now you're using 3 devices. You have your mic, you have Voice Meter, and you have Art Tune. You have your voice, you have normal sound, and you have game audio through Art Tune. Shadowplay can't add all those devices, and Metal causes way too many frame drops. Actually, Shadowplay has another issue where it doesn't actually record at 60 frames. You can inspect any clip you record in Shadowplay, and it will be under 60 frames, which is a nightmare for content. Another issue is it's always recording to your hard drive. So if you're recording to an SSD, you are just killing the life of your drive. What I recommend to most people is OBS. It's what most of us content creators use to record and to stream, and I'm going to show you guys the basic setup now. Now I have a little bit of this set up already because I already use OBS for other reasons, but when you open it and you install it, I'll provide a download link below. It will look something like this. The first thing you want to do is hit settings, and we're going to go to output, and we're going to change this to advanced. Now if you're not streaming, ignore streaming. We're going to go to recording. We're going to change the format to fragmented MP4. This way, if anything happens to the PC, it will save your recording. And we want to change the encoder. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card, you want to use H.264 or HEVC. HEVC will be smaller files and they'll be able to be edited in pretty much everything. H.264 is what most of all y'all are used to. The settings I'm going to give you are going to be the same regardless. So I'm going to choose HEVC. You can leave the rest of this alone. We'll talk about resolution in a second. When you get to rate control, change this to CQP, leave it at 20, change the preset to P3, leave quality at high, single pass, uncheck psychovisual tuning, and hit apply. We are good to go here. Now, if you don't have the NVIDIA options, you probably have an AMD graphics card. After recording this video, I'll try to find a guide on good recording settings for that and link it in the description below. Once you're done in the output section, we'll go down to the audio section and we'll add a couple things. For desktop audio 1, we will add voice meter. This is going to be your Discord audio, your desktop audio, other games. That's an important thing to understand about how the tune works, right? When we add your hardware device in voice meter, it actually receives two different audios. Art tune goes out to your hardware device, and voice meter goes out to your hardware device. Normal sound, COD sound. So we choose a voice meter, and then here we'll choose art tune, and then here you'll choose your mic, and for me, that's line. So I'll hit apply, and then the last step we need to do is video. You want to set this to the resolution that you game in. For me, that's 4K. Both the canvas and the output should both match, and the FPS should be set to 60. Once that's done, you can hit OK. Now, on the left-hand side, you'll want to right-click and add. You'll add a new scene. I'm not going to do that because of how my system's set up. You're not going to be able to see anything. But in that scene, you'll want to add. You won't have a display capture there. Again, I can't get rid of this because this is how my system works. You'll add a game capture. I already have one. We'll just call this game capture 2. Leave this totally alone and hit OK. Right click the game capture, go to transform, and go to fit to screen. That will scale the game capture full. Now, this isn't going to capture anything. This is only going to work when the game is up. So once you launch the game, OBS will start capturing the game. In a separate scene, you can add a display capture like I did here if you want to record your desktop. If you're only after recording the game, you do not need to add a display capture. And please, like I have them here, do not add them to the same scene. You need to have them in separate scenes. Then you can set some levels here. You'll need to have audio playing through them like somebody in Discord, and you should rename them here. So properties voice meter, I can rename this to voice meter. This is art tune, so I can rename that to art tune. And then I just set a good level here. And we're gonna use a feature called a replay buffer. We're gonna go to settings, we're gonna go to output, and we're gonna go to replay buffer tab. And we're gonna enable replay buffer by checking this box. What replay buffer does is it always records to your RAM instead of your hard drive. Your RAM is always made to be able to be recorded to, and the game really isn't using that much of it. So we can put in a good time here, like a minute, so 60 seconds. And then I wanna tell the computer not to be larger than, let's say, 1,000 megabytes or a gig. It's going to vary depending on your resolution and on how much RAM you have. If you have a dedicated stream PC and you want to use replay buffer, you can do it in a crazy amount of time. Once that's done, you can hit apply, and you'll see here in the bottom we have a new button called Start Replay Buffer. One more thing we're going to want to do in settings is under hotkeys, if you search for replay buffer, you can set up a hotkey here like F12 to save replay buffer. And what that will do is When you come into OBS and you click Start Replay Buffer, from this moment on, OBS is recording what it sees in the canvas to your RAM. When you click this Save button, or you press the key that you saved on your keyboard, in my case F12, you can see down here it says Replay Buffer saved to Administrator Videos Replay. And so now I have a clip from the moment I hit Start Replay Buffer to the moment I click that Save button. That is the best way to clip, and I hope that helps y'all out. As far as performance goes, on my system, I don't notice any hit, but I'm on a Juice Streamer PC. I asked Merc FPS at FPS Hub what his opinion was, and his experience, Metal and Shadowplay were all very inconsistent and affected hardware in the ways we talked about earlier. What he said about OBS recording with Replay Buffer is that it hits a constant amount of frames. So maybe you lose 15 frames, but it's never more than that. So your recordings will look way better, you'll have all your audio, and it's super convenient. One last thing, I'm not just gonna do arbitrary seasonal changes for audio. I could easily just change the settings every season and get y'all to come through for more appointments, get you to download more stuff. But if it's not broken, don't fix it. And right now, we're in a pretty good place with audio. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens with Black Ops 6. In the future, I'm testing so many new headphones. I think I have something finally that dethrones the Kiwi ears and some very exciting updates on the controller front. So you'll want to be subscribed with notifications on so you know when I upload those videos. I'll say again, one of the simplest things you can do to have a better experience with the audio tune is just get yourself a decent headset or a cheap pair of IEMs. They are so much better than those Astros. Please do not spend $379.99 on Astro A50Xs that don't have a single auxiliary port on them. Your money can be so much better spent. I'm going to link 2 videos down below about headsets and about IEMs, and the next videos are going to be about those as well, so you're not going to want to miss those. Until the next one, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.